Mother Akasha is with you today in our weekly Ascended Master broadcast. My goodness, we're almost coming up to a year, March 20th, 2020, since we began these weekly broadcasts. And I am truly grateful to my messenger Usa, who freely provides of his time and service, that we may offer these ongoing weekly broadcasts to those who care to tune in and take in what is being offered. Today I would like to present a little gem, something you can do, something that may open wonderful new blessings and opportunities for you. This gem is called Create the Space. Hold the space. For you to be able to work with this gem, I provide you the understanding of all that is involved, that you may employ this little gem in your life. As you realize yourselves as beings of consciousness, who in your world are living in a multi-body system that consists of your physical body, your emotional body, and your mental body, how important it is to seek to be fully integrated consciously and energetically within your three-body system. Sometimes this process is referred to as being fully grounded or fully present. I would encourage you to realize that the full integrative use of your senses and faculties, your intuitions, your promptings, your inner knowings, all of these to be able to use these aspects of your beingness require that you be fully present and fully integrated in your three-body system that life provides you to incarnate upon your world on planet Earth. Now I know that you have more than three bodies to express your consciousness. You have your light body, your violet soul body, your higher discerning intelligence body, and the electronic body of your higher self, your own I am God presence. However, for this conversation, I am referring to the base, the fundamental, the three-body system that you use in your daily lives, that you use to go on about your day, handling all the activities of your day, once again, those being your physical, emotional, and mental bodies. Again, I say it is important that your consciousness and all your energy has full access to these three bodies throughout your day, full integrating your energy throughout your three-body system. Now, due to circumstances in people's lives, sometimes there is an imbalance of consciousness, attention, and energy in their three-body system. Sometimes there is too much of one's energy, attention, and consciousness acting in their mental body. And they can often be observed as being very mental, or too much energy, consciousness, and attention focused in their emotional bodies, and they can be observed as too emotional. So I trust you may understand what I am referring to. Ideally, it is to have our energy and consciousness fully integrated in our multi-body system, for when we do, we have greater access to incoming ideas, greater access to promptings coming from our hearts and feeling side of life, greater access to sudden knowing, our sensitivity increases, our intuitions increase, and we have greater access to these wonderful activities of our lives. And to ensure that we have access to these favorable activities, we must be fully present, our consciousness and energy fully acting in our three-body system. Now, certainly, there can be times where there is a little more energy or consciousness acting in one of our bodies than another, depending upon what our work or attention is focused upon. For example, if one is studying, their attention is focused through the window of their mind, their mental body. Then for those moments of intense study, more of that person's energy will naturally flow into the mental body. If one is having a positive or negative emotional experience, love or depression, during those moments, they will have more of their energy and consciousness acting in their emotional body. Now, once the studying or the emotional experience is over, and one moves on to other activities of their lives, their energy and consciousness will naturally seek to rebalance throughout their three-body system. If there has been an intense focus using one of our bodies for a period of time, then one might have to help themselves to rebalance their energy throughout their three bodies, taking steps to center themselves, breathing slow, deep breaths while holding their attention upon their heart centers, and allowing their attention upon their physical bodies from brain to toes, slowly scanning their attention throughout their entire physical body, remembering the truth, where your energy goes, or rather, forgive me, where your attention goes, your energy flows. So it is a good idea to try a few simple steps throughout your day to rebalance your energies throughout your multi-body system, especially after a duration of time where you have been very focused upon something, upon some activity. Once again, you will find you have much greater access to enjoying a host of benefits by simply making sure a few times a day that you are fully present, fully grounded, fully integrated in your three-body system. Again, some of those benefits of doing so include experiencing an inflow of ideas that can come to you from God's source or your own higher consciousness, experience inner promptings that can come to you from your heart, experience sudden inner knowings that can come to you through your feeling side of life, experience sudden intuitions, and an increase of sensitivity that can be a blessing to your life. Equally, you will all experience a heightened use and experience of your senses and faculties. All these wonderful blessings you will find benefit your life greatly. And all this by taking simple steps to balance or rebalance your consciousness and energy throughout your day, doing this a few times. Often beyond the list, this little list of benefits that come from being fully integrated in your multi-body system is another important benefit. And that benefit is when life, your own life, is trying to send you a message. Create the space. Hold the space. So if you try to be more fully integrated in your multi-body system throughout your day, then I have a little gem for you that may open some doors for you. This gem is a message that is always trying to come into people's awareness. However, few ever become aware of this message. Sometimes, due to one's experiences, they might find themselves asking the question, what is my life trying to tell me? Or is there a message that I'm not getting? These are great questions. And the answer is always yes, beloved hearts. Yet even when your life is trying to send you a message, often you are not receiving that message so that you can work with it. But that's all right, precious hearts. That's why I'm here today. Mother is here to help. So last night, in my Tree of Life class, I introduced this little gem. It is called Create the Space. Hold the space. And you might place a semicolon between those two parts of the sentence. Create the space, semicolon. Hold the space. First, do you remember, precious hearts, that lovely film, that movie called Field of Dreams? And he began to hear and see a message several times, that message being, build it and they will come. Well, precious hearts, I ask you to trust that your own life always has a special message for you. Can you imagine with me this very moment? Can you imagine that there is a message being sent to you that is not being received by you? Can you imagine that in your night dreams, an angelic voice is whispering to you, create the space, hold the space, create the space, hold the space. Or you are meditating, out for a walk, and you hear or don't hear an angelic voice that is whispering to you, create the space, hold the space. And yet, for whatever reasons, which may include that you are not fully present, fully integrated in your three-body system, you are not receiving that message. So, beloved hearts, today, to all of you who may be receptive and trust me, I say to each of you that a message Your own life is trying to send you. Create the space. Hold the space. Now, this is not about doing something. This is about being present in your body. And to use your mental body and feeling body ever so kindly to create the space and hold the space. So, where do we start? First, let's realize that sometimes there are no changes occurring in our lives. Life seems to be the same old, over and over each day. The truth is, we have not created the space for things to change. So where do we start? By accepting the message from our own life. Create the space. Hold the space. We begin being fully present and by questioning ourselves, asking ourselves, what is the space my own life is asking me to create? And in what area of my life? Precious hearts, you do know yourselves better than you realize. And it may take a few days of just asking yourself, use your beautiful minds and ask yourself, all right, I get the message. Create the space. So what is this space my life is asking me to create? And in what area of my life? Ask the questions. Tell yourself you are placing these questions in your heart center of knowingness. Try not to allow your intellect to provide you the answer. Just keep asking the question. Asking yourself, what is this space my life is asking me to create? In what area of my life? And once you feel you have asked the question enough, just place the question in your heart. Remain receptive. Go on about your day. Perhaps do this every day. And then just leave the question in your heart. Now I'll give you a few examples of what that space may be for. Perhaps your life is asking you to mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and psychologically to create a space for, and here's some examples, a new work opportunity, a raise in your wages, new friends in your life, a space for greater health in your body, a space for a new life partner, a space to heal issues with family members, create a space for greater awakening and enlightenment, to create a space for time off and vacation time. How about to create a space to let go of hard feelings, to create a space for complete forgiveness? Or you might get a response to create a space for a resolution to come forth, for a serious present problem that may be in your life, or to create a space for a resolution for a long-standing limitation. The list can be endless, but once you question yourself, once you choose to take up this technique and anchor your questions in your heart and tell yourself that in the following days to be open and receptive and trust the answer will come to you. Once you know what it is that your life is asking you to create the space for, then say yes to that idea. Tell yourself several times a day that you are now creating the space for fill in the blanks. You are now creating the space for, and you fill in the blanks. Once you feel you have really registered your openness, and you are open and receptive to creating the space for this new activity, acknowledging this several times a day, because often it's in the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, or the psychological activity of you that the space for something must be created long before occurrences take place in the outer world of fulfillment. And once you feel that you've truly registered that idea in the space that you've created within yourselves, now it's time to allow the holding of this space. Hold the space. It's time to allow yourself to almost feel pregnant with this idea that you are now holding in this space that you've created, giving it over to your consciousness in your heart and your physical body to hold this space vibrationally, energetically, allowing that space you've created to germinate, to bloom, holding the consciousness and vibrations of what you have realized yourself desires you to create the space for. Hold it in yourselves. Hold it there with a full expectancy until you feel that you are so full of the vibration of it, of holding that in sacred space. Then will come the time to let it go. To let all the energy of that idea that you chose to create a space for, that you've been holding the sacred space for, then will come the time. It may take weeks, it may take months, but the next thing will come, will you have such a strong feeling to let it go. Let all that energy that you've been holding on to in your heart, in your body, holding that space, time to let it go. Let that energy go out into the world for its fulfillment. Then be sensitive to any inner guidance of whatever action your own life might ask you to take in order for fulfillment to come about. This is a practice precious heart. And the more you practice, the more you are with it, the more efficient you will become, and the more it will work. And if you choose to work with this every day, and you have created your own rhythm and system, then you can try creating 2 or 3 spaces and holding 2 or 3 spaces and reviewing with yourself a couple of times a day that you are holding that space within yourself for whatever it is that you have been guided to create a space in yourself for something new, something wonderful to come forth in our lives. Yet perhaps let's start with creating 1 space. Trust your own inner guidance. For what I have provided here is simply a guideline. This guideline: create the space, hold the space. And as you whisper this to yourself and imagine your own life is sending you this message, this will create within yourself a new openness, a new relationship, an interactive relationship between all parts of yourself, creating the space for something new to come forth in your life. Then holding that space within yourself, that it can build energetically and vibrationally. And then comes the day that it's time to give birth, to let all the energy that you've been building, all the intention, let it go out into the world and allow the universal consciousness to work with all that you desire and all that you require. The reason that I invite you to trust your heart on this and not your intellect is that the intellect knows only the past. The intellect is ultimately the library that stores all your experiences of the past and all your perceptions of those experiences. And precious hearts, often it is your own perceptions of your experiences that become boulders on the golden pathway to limitless new opportunities. So we must get past those perceptions that we have formed based on our past experiences. Because if we don't get past those perceptions that we hold in our intellect are responsible for maintaining same old, no changes in my life. This little formula, it is sacred. And I whisper into each of you now, create the space, hold the space, create the space. hold the space, create the space, and hold the space. And I and my angels will help your greater life to become beautifully aware of those areas in your life that your own life is inviting you. Create a new space. Energetically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, psychologically. Trust what comes to you. Create the space. Hold the space. And in this way, we can get past your own perceptions, which too often are a roadblock for wonderful new activities, blessings, peoples, opportunities to come forth in your life. I hold this gem for each of you. You cannot fail. Engage it. Trust your own inner guidance and allow wonderful new activities, blessings, opportunities, and even people to show up in your life. Create the space. Hold the space. Namaste, my dear, dear friends of the light. Namaste, namaste, namaste.